The committee meets today to consider reporting a resolution of the House of Representatives finding Lois G. Lerner, former Director, Exempt Organizations, Internal Revenue Service, in contempt of Congress. Today, the committee has convened a business meeting to consider a resolution recommending contempt of Congress for former IRS Executive Lois Lerner. This is not an action I take lightly. For almost a year since Lois Lerner leaked information from the Inspector General's report, the committee has been trying to get to the bottom of IRS targeting. We need Ms. Lerner's testimony to complete our oversight work to bring the truth to the American people. Why did she do certain things, and who else was involved? It is important to review how we arrived at this resolution today. Ms. Lerner appeared before this committee last May and made an entirely voluntary opening statement in which she professed her innocence. She said she did nothing wrong, broke no laws, and did not violate any IRS rules. After her under oath, wide-ranging claims of innocence, Ms. Lerner answered some additional questions, then refused. Ms. Lerner asserted her Fifth Amendment rights, and then answered some additional questions after asserting the Fifth. We know from her attorney that she sat down for a lengthy, no-strings-attached interview with Eric Holder's Justice Department. She was not granted immunity. Think about that for a second. Ms. Lerner, who once held a position of great power and responsibility at the IRS, is willing to talk to the Justice Department, the executive branch, but she remains unwilling to answer questions from elected representatives of the American people. At one point, Ms. Lerner's attorney told us she would testify, but then rescinded that offer after seeing some of the evidence gathered by the committee. That's not the way these things work. The American taxpayers certainly don't get to plead the Fifth and escape all accountability when the IRS audits them. Yesterday, the Ways and Means Committee voted to release information allowing Chairman Camp to send a letter referring her to the Justice Department for probable criminal acts. I now ask unanimous consent that those documents be placed in the record. Without objection, so ordered. Like Chairman Camp, I am concerned that Ms. Lerner violated the law. If she or her lawyer explained what she wanted to admit and why she needed immunity to tell the full truth, I certainly would consider it. But I am not going to support immunity so Ms. Lerner can continue to mislead this committee. If she really did nothing wrong and wants to tell the full truth, she doesn't need immunity. Absence a change of position by Ms. Lerner, this committee has already determined that she waived her Fifth Amendment claim. It would be irresponsible for the committee not to vigorously pursue her testimony that includes holding her accountable if she fails to meet her legal obligations. Throughout last summer, the IRS released self-selected and self-beneficial documents purporting to show the IRS also targeted liberal groups. The IRS prioritized those documents over the material, including Lois Lerner's emails, which were the subject of subpoena and to this day have not all been turned over. On Monday, the committee released a 141-page staff report that thoroughly debunks the myth that the IRS targeted liberal groups. The evidence showed that only Tea Party and conservative groups were targeted because of their political beliefs. Regrettably, the misinformation campaign continues. The new IRS Commissioner testified before the committee just 2 weeks ago. The Commissioner tried to engage in some revisionist history, flatly denying that the IRS Inspector General had ever called the IRS wrongdoing targeting. The Commissioner was simply wrong. In fact, the Washington Post fact-checker found the Commissioner's claim was a significant factual error. This is not a good start for a man selected by the President to restore trust in the IRS. The American people rightfully don't trust the IRS to tell them what really happened. That responsibility falls to us. We cannot tell the American people that we have done all we can do to get to the truth in this investigation if we offer a pass to a critical witness like Ms. Lerner. We are here today for one fundamental reason: to get